Jai Shri Radhe Shri Vallabhadisha Ki Jai Ho. Continuing with our stories of the Dosa Bhavan Vaishnav, 252 Vaishnavas in English. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. It's continuing yesterday, and it is Varta 3217. The Brahmin began to beat his brow, and he went home. The money-lender Vaishnava also went home. He then sent 4 men to fetch the Brahmin to him. When he arrived, he took the Brahmin by the hand and led him to an isolated spot on the roof. The money-lender Vaishnava showed the Brahmin much respect and politely offered him a seat. He put 5 bags of money in front of him and said, "Please take your money back." The Brahmin was shocked and said, "I do not understand what has happened here. What is this all about? Please explain everything to me." The money-lender Vaishnava spoke out, "O Brahmin, please listen. I did all of this in order to prove something to myself." The Brahmin interjected, "Please do not perform any more such tests. Please explain everything to me." The money-lender Vaishnava went on, "It is believed that if one becomes Sri Gosaiji's disciple and surrenders through them to the Lord, then this for them is a new birth. The embodied soul is reborn as a Vaishnava and henceforth belongs to the Supreme Lord and becomes very capable and resilient. A Vaishnava once told me this. I did all that I have done in order to prove this statement. Now I have absolute faith that, yes, I have attained this second birth. I swore that if I had taken any money from you in this birth, then my hands would burn. My hands did not burn. So this proves that Sri Gosaiji's powers are divine. Please do not talk about this to anyone. And now please take your money and proceed home." When the Brahmin saw all this, he thought to himself, "If I should now also become a Vaishnava, this path of grace is certainly the most exalted." Thinking this, he took his money and went home. From that day on, the moneylender's faith in Sri Gosaiji became very strong. He believed without a doubt that Sri Gosaiji was the divine Lord. Thereafter, the moneylender Vaishnava began to make Seva to Sri Krishna. An embodied soul needs to have firm faith in the Lord. This tale shows the greatness of the Brahma Sambandha initiation. How? When an embodied soul takes the Brahma Sambandha initiation, they become established in a relationship with the Lord and their character changes. For example, if an outcast woman is chosen by a king as his wife, then her position as an outcast is removed and she then is called a queen. She then attains the status of a queen and lives by a queen's righteous path within her new parameters and relations. This is for her a new birth, for she now no longer behaves like or relates to her outcast status. Before an embodied soul takes the Brahma Sambandha initiation, they are like an outcast. Then, however, with the grace of Sri Vallabhacharyaji, Sri Thakurji selects them and they establish their relationship to him, which gives them the new status like a queen. This is the same in this case, described above. One should have total faith in the Brahma Sambandha process. This is when an embodied soul reaches the true goal of their very existence. Thus concludes Varta 217, the story of the moneylender, who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and thus an accomplished Vaishnava. Waji Jai Ho. Continuing with Varta 218, the story of a Brahmin from Kambaich, the one who deposited 5,000 rupees with the above-mentioned moneylender before going on Vraja Yatra. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Tamasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, his name is Vatsala, a Sakhi of Mayurani, who manifests from Chandraban and is thus a personification of her divine loving sentiment. Part 1. This Brahmin had deposited 5,000 rupees with the Brahmin before setting off on his trip to Varanasi and Vraj. The money-lender Vaishnava called the Brahmin to go to pick up that money from him, and the Brahmin questioned him about everything that had happened, and the money-lender told him everything in detail. The Brahmin was amazed by everything that he told him and thought to himself, "Oh brother, this Brahma Sambandha truly is a new birth." The moneylender held that red-hot iron weight in his hands, and it did not get burnt, even though he held it for nearly 2 hours. Considering thus, he said to the moneylender Vaishnava, "I would like to become Sri Gosaiji's disciple and be initiated by him with the Lord's name and Brahma Sambandha. Why? Because my whole life up to this moment has been wasted. I am 25 years old, but have never seen anything like this in my entire life." The moneylender Vaishnava replied, "Becoming his disciple is a great plan, and you should definitely become a Vaishnava. Sri Gosaiji will soon be going to Sri Dwarkaji." The Brahmin asked, "Where does Sri Gosaiji reside?" The moneylender Vaishnava told him everything he wished to know. Not long after, Sri Gosaiji travelled to Sri Dwarkaji. When the Brahmin heard this, he set out for Dwarkaji to have the holy sight of Sri Ranchorlalji. He caught sight of Sri Gosaiji in Sri Ranchorlalji's temple, and soon after Sri Gosaiji went back to his camp, and the Brahmin accompanied him there. He gave to Sri Gosaiji the letter and donation that the moneylender Vaishnava had sent with him. He supplicated, "O Maharaj, please bless me, as you have the moneylender, Vaishnava. I have come to take refuge in you. He then recounted to Sri Gosaiji the whole story of how the moneylender Vaishnava had taken the test. Hearing all that news, Sri Gosaiji was extremely pleased and said, "The Lord graces those whose hearts are pure. He grants them divine experience and helps them along their path. The Lord is all-powerful." He then told the Brahmin to go to bathe, and he did. Sri Gosaiji initiated him with the Lord's name. Thereafter the Brahmin stayed there and lived by begging for uncooked food supplies in that village. He would then prepare offerings which he made to Sri Thakurji and then partook of the Mahaprasad. In the evenings he would go to listen to Sri Gosaiji's divine discourses. After this, Sri Gosaiji started his return journey, walking through the villages of Gujarat. The Brahmin travelled with him. The Brahmin supplicated, "O Maharaj, please come once to Kambaich." Sri Gosaiji visited Kambaich and the Brahmin invited him to his home. His wife and all other family members were initiated by Sri Gosaiji. All of them took the Brahmasambandh initiation. The Brahmin then told Sri Gosaiji, "I have 5 deities whom I worship. What should I do now?" Sri Gosaiji had all the deities brought before him and looked at them. He saw that one of them was the Sri Thakurji Swarup. He kept that one with him and told the Brahmin to put all the other 4 in the lake without anyone knowing about it. The Brahmin did exactly this. He then cleansed all his house out and brought new cooking pots and plates, etc. Sri Gosaiji bathed them, and after he had applied his sacred forehead mark, bathed the Sri Thakurji in the 5 nectars and sat him on the throne. He cooked and made offerings to the Sri Thakurji. He accepted back those offerings as Mahaprasad and settled Sri Thakurji down for his nap. He then partook of Mahaprasad and himself took a nap. The Brahmin fed all the Vaishnavas there with the Mahaprasad. Sri Gosaiji stayed there for a few days more and then left for Srinath Jirwar. The Brahmin became a very nice Vaishnava and served his Sri Thakurji very sweetly. Sri Thakurji began to grant him his direct experience. Thus it was that the Brahmin became a Vaishnava through his association with the moneylender Vaishnava, Bhav Prakash. This story advises us to always seek the company of accomplished Vaishnavas. Thus concludes Varta 218, the story of the Brahmin who received Sri Gosaiji's great grace and became an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his tale. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Sri Gosaiji ki jai, 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 Shri Radhe.